Hey guys, how's it going? It's Micah. If you remember, about a month or two ago, probably 2 months ago, maybe 3, I don't know, all the months kind of blend into one now. Maono sent me a lavalier mic, which I was a big fan of, and have since then kept in my camera bag. But they let me know at the end of that video that they were going to be releasing a new microphone, a very interesting microphone that they wanted me to try. And then finally, it's available, and they sent it to me. It's the Fairy Lite mic, and we're going to open it up and see what's in it. And then also test it, of course, to see how good it is. Oh. So it's an interesting design. So taking it out of the foam housing, it was packaged very nicely, by the way. And inside you get a USB Type-C. Now this is the first USB microphone I've ever seen that has a USB-C connection. Now I don't know if this will particularly have any form of relevance to the quality or anything like that, but it's just interesting. I mean, nothing says 2018 like a USB-C. And of course there is a nice Maono pouch to store it in. Because this microphone, the big selling point on it, what they advertise about it, is that it's easy to carry around and bring with you on different recording sessions. So this is meant to be like thrown into a laptop case and record audio wherever you need it. So let's talk about this microphone in a second. Let's see what else is in here. And then in here, you have a, I mean, I don't understand the need of this. This is basically extension to a 3.5 millimeter jack. I'm not sure the point. There is a headphone jack back here, but I don't understand the purpose of having this extender. I mean, it's a very insignificant length, so maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. I'll look into that later. And of course, the instructions. It's interesting, the package contents, the list doesn't even include that little extender, so I'm not sure the point of it. Okay, so the purpose of the USB-C is not only to connect to your computer easily, it's so that you can have a C-to-C connector instead, which isn't included, but if you got one, I mean, you can pick them up at Five Below, they're easy to find. If you get a C-to-C connector, you can plug this into your phone and have a better connection rather than the headphone jack, which would be interesting. I'd be curious to test out how well that works. But it's for that type of thing. Those cables are super easy to get. Which would make this interesting for recording much better audio on the go. Alright, let's put the packaging aside. Let's look at the microphone itself. So, first impressions. This stand is very interesting. I mean, the fact that you can fold it in different ways and then screw the sides of it to tighten it so that it doesn't flop about on you is nice. I wish that the metal didn't have as much of a sharp edge. It's not really that it's really sharp, it's just there's hard corners on it, and it feels a little odd. If it was a little more polished somehow, that would be cool. Also, the metal does feel a bit flexible and thin. Not that it would break, it just has an odd feeling to it. Not necessarily complaint, it's just, I don't know, it's a hand feel thing. Like I said, it is good that you can adjust it. Here, let's move this down. You can sort of adjust it anywhere that you need it to point at, and I don't know. It is a good idea. I just wish there was a slightly different feeling to the legs. Now there is a screw mount at the bottom, which I find interesting complaints about because this version doesn't have it, but some of them include a weighted stand that this would screw into. But then you have a stand that goes down to here that it goes and connects to the stand that's built in. So it just seemed odd, like a very odd choice. So I'm not sad that I don't have that on this microphone. I'm not sad that I'm missing out on the weighted stand, because I don't think I'd use it. The rest, I can't tell if this is metal or plastic. The grill on the top is, of course, metal. Now the buttons, or not buttons, the dials are plastic, and they're slightly cheap feeling plastic. and on them you can control the audio for, wait, this is important. There is a bit of an audible turning. Doesn't feel quite polished. I wish there was no sound, because adjusting that, you're going to hear it in the microphone very clearly. And you can also adjust the volume of the recording as well as the audio going out. So nice to have that customization there. You see the Maono branding on the side. And yeah, that's about it when it comes to the outside. There's a little bit of rubber at the bottom, which I'm not really sure is what that's for, because you're not really, you're not really supposed to stand it on that. So I don't quite get the point of that. I mean, it would be nice if this had brackets to attach to an actual boom. That would be a nice addition, but this is the Fairy Lite, so it's not meant for that. But it would be cool, because this is close to an $80 microphone, so it'd be nice if it had that option. Okay, we've touched it, we felt it, we looked at it. Time to test it. Now all the audio is being recorded through the Maono mic. My first test without recording the video. Don't touch it. I mean, seriously, don't touch it. You'll hear everything. And I mean, other than that, the audio is clear. It's just there's a few things that, I mean, it is sensitive. I mean, the little metal brackets are easily to move. They're very slippery on most surfaces, so you'd have to put it on something that will be a little more skid resistance. Otherwise, you'll hear absolutely everything. If you adjust the audio while the sensitivity while recording, you'll hear everything you touch on it. So that's not a best plan. I mean, if these had a little bit of a rubber coating at the bottom, that would probably substantially change the movement of it. And if the dials themselves were a little smoother, then you wouldn't hear the fiddling with them as much. But they're a little bit loose and do that. I mean, the technology inside the capsules seem to be very responsive. They seem to produce very clear audio. I think my only complaint would be about the physical design of it. I know it's tricky when you're dealing with a microphone that you're supposed to be able to just toss in a bag and move along. And it's not a bad microphone. It's just there's a few things about it that could be refined a little bit more that would make it a little bit easier and more versatile for people. The fact that you can't really move it around or touch it too much without creating a lot of interference isn't the best or the most practical for everyone. So that's just kind of But if you're a person who keeps your microphone very stable where it is and don't move things around too much and you know your audio, it is a good microphone. I just think at the price it should be a little bit better balanced and a little bit better designed to handle those kinds of things, especially when it's meant to be used everywhere. Other than that, the audio does sound very, very clear. Okay, guys, one more note. So the fact that these are metal and kind of thin at that, there's no weight to them, the thinness of them transfers the audio of whatever surface you place them on. So on a desk, this one in particular is a very hard surface, and the legs of it are metal and everything. So there's a lot of vibration going on, especially for my voice, because my voice especially kind of vibrates a lot of the surfaces in my office. So the reverb from the table is transferring up the thin legs, the stand that's attached to this microphone. The housing is also, I'm just rubbing it, and that's the sound. So the housing also has a material that transfers sound very easily, and that is getting into the microphone. So while listening back to one of my tests, I heard a lot of boom, 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 and that was the vibrations going through the housing, and that's just not good. That's not good for a microphone. I mean, yes, you could place something down on top of the surface. Like I could get this piece here that has foam. I could place it on that. That might help a little bit. But, I mean, the design could have prevented some of this by having a thicker surface, a thicker housing. Again, I'm going to bring the price into a factor. It's just some of the materials feel a little cheap for the price you're paying. This is getting pulled off pretty easily, the back of this housing here. So with some thicker materials, some better housing, a lot of the vibration transfer wouldn't happen. Again, I'm going to say that the capsules and the actual technology inside are pretty decent, and you can have quality recordings, but they're kind of ruined by the materials that the housing is made from, and getting a lot of vibration transfers. So those are my thoughts. Honestly, it's the design that is weighing this microphone down.